I debated about whether or not to share this publicly, but I decided ultimately that it would have been a benefit if I knew more earlier and had had this conversation. In a few days, I'm going to undergo surgery to finally put my struggle with fibroids behind me. I felt it was important to explain not only the process with our audience, but also my absence in the next few weeks. I'm so grateful to other women who have previously spoken out about their battles with this condition. As part of my journey, I was fortunate enough to have a conversation with model Cynthia Bailey, singer Tamar Braxton, and gynecologist Dr. Soyini Hawkins to explore more about this often taboo topic and why so many women suffer in silence.
I've always been relatively healthy, but in a few days I'll be undergoing a major surgery.
I'm actually getting you at like 5'4.5".
Oh, maybe I'm growing.
Okay, maybe you are.
For years, I've been plagued by fibroids.
I know history of diabetes.
And until recently, I rarely talked about them, even as they silently shaped parts of my life.
Uh-huh.
And what surgeries have you had before?
I had surgery on a finger once when I was in like middle school. And that's it.
Okay, that's it. That's it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had a myomectomy
Yeah,
a few years ago.
Okay.
I did, yeah.
Okay.
Fibroids are non-cancerous tumors that grow in the uterus. About 5 years ago, I had a surgery to have them removed, but they grew back, more of them and bigger.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Linsey Davis. Thanks so much for streaming with us. We do begin tonight with what this means to have a new pope. It's hard enough without any water.
All while smiling through newscasts and brushing off any discomfort. That's what many of us do, isn't it?
I have not ridden a bike in I don't know how long.
Especially as women, we endure, we minimize, we keep going.
Let's go.
But it did give me pause this past March.
I'm Linsey Davis, along with the ever dapper Whit Johnson, the real-life Oscar statuette in the flesh.
When the fibroids caused my belly to protrude so much on the red carpet, people on Twitter thought I was pregnant.
I'd gotten this dress, and maybe, I don't know what happened when I tried it on, but it was fine. But when I wore it actually on the red carpet, my very good girlfriend, who will tell me the truth, right? And she was like, her sister messaged her and said, oh, the internet is saying Linsey's pregnant.
Oh, the bloat, honey. Yeah, the fibroid bloat.
I stayed on the celebrity baby bump alert. Like I was always I was always pregnant with imaginary children because of my fibroids.
While fibroids are a topic many shy away from discussing, I'm now leaning into the conversation with others who are brave enough to share their struggles publicly in the hopes that other women will feel less alone. Cynthia Bailey, a model, actress, and reality TV star, first shared her experience on The Real Housewives of Atlanta.
I cannot continue to live my life with fibroids. It's just taken over my personal life, my business life.
And is now a paid brand ambassador for USA Fibroid Centers. Singer Tamar Braxton is known for hits like Love and War. And has shared her own story with fibroids, something her mother and sisters suffered from as well. I traveled to Atlanta to have a raw and honest conversation, joined by gynecologist Dr. Soyini Hawkins, to talk about our own journeys and experiences with fibroids and the debilitating ways they can impact not only physical but also mental health.
I remember going to and this was the final straw for me. I was married to my first husband at the time, and we went to a Bravo event. It was like out of town somewhere, I can't remember. And we were doing a meet and greet, and I was on my cycle, and I was probably seated for like a couple hours, signing, autographs, talking to the fans or whatever. And I remember when it was over, I stood up, and I just felt like I knew what it was. It was like a big whoosh. Yeah. By the time I got up, and I had on a tampon and I had a pad. Mm-hmm. None of that mattered. All that was soaked through.
Right.
By the time I got up, I'm walking to the elevator with Peter. At this point, blood is running down my legs.
No.
But no one's looking down at me. Everyone's looking at me. Like, Cynthia, oh my God. I'm like, I'll be right back. Yes. I got to go to my room for a second. No one's looking. By the time we get to the elevator, I'm like standing in a pool of blood. It was insane. I remember getting in the shower, and I just started crying. I was like, I'm so tired of feeling like this. I'm so tired of living like this. And that was the point. That was my breaking point where I was like, not another day.
It's a normalized situation, especially in the Black women community, that, oh, it's okay to take a change of clothes, and it's okay to wear a tampon and a pad at the same time. I became a bit upset at my siblings and my mother. I'm like, excuse me, you mean that this is something I could have prevented or taken care of earlier, and I could have understood what was going on with me? No, it's not. This is not normal.
But for you, Tracy and Tony both ended up having hysterectomies.
They had hysterectomy, and my mother had a hysterectomy. My mother had me at 29. She had a hysterectomy, a full hysterectomy at 36.
But you, even with your sisters, you weren't saying, oh my gosh, this is so uncomfortable.
No, because I had it too. And I didn't know that it was fibroids. I thought it was a normal period, a heavy, ridiculous normal period where you miss school, you have insane cramps. Like it would be to the point where I would feel nauseous, couldn't get out of bed, and I would be exhausted. And the exhaustion came from having extreme anemia, you know, and that was not a conversation in a household full of women, Black women, that we should have been sitting around on this couch speaking about.
Everyone was suffering in silence.
Suffering in silence.
Fibroids can grow in any woman in their reproductive years. Tamar didn't realize she had them until she was trying to get pregnant.
Tamar, what were some of your biggest, obviously you had bad cramps, bad periods. Did you have other symptoms?
Infertility.
Because of the fibroids?
Because of the fibroids.
That was blocking the process?
Yes, and I had no idea. Like, and my whole life, I never even had a scare. And I come to find out when I was going through the IVF process, I had a scan, like you said, and then I found out I had fibroids.
And so then how did you treat it?
I had the surgery.
Ranging
it was just
in
a fruit
size?
basket, like a little grape, a little avocado, a little, a little fruit basket. And then I went through the IVF process and then had, I call him my miracle baby. So I got pregnant on my own. So I was able to get pregnant on my own. Yeah, I know, right?
But that's a silent symptom of fibroids. I call infertility the silent symptoms because sometimes patients have no other symptom. They don't have the classic heavy bleeding pain, back pain. Sometimes patients just have, I gotta go to the bathroom every 2 hours.
All the time, right.
Uterine fibroids affect roughly 70% of all women by the age of 50, but they are 3 times more common and often more severe in Black women, and they typically go undetected until some kind of discomfort begins.
But why Black women 3 times more likely than a white woman?
Yeah, a lot goes into that. So we know now that there's genetics that go into it. There definitely is a hereditary component for everyone. And then for us specifically, our melanin blocks vitamin D. And vitamin D is associated with fibroid growth. So it's very multifactorial why Black women, some of it will say it's our diets, it's the things that we eat, it's the perm that we permed our hair with for decades that was affecting the way our hormones treat our entire body, including our uterus and the fibroids.
I feel like if there is an 80% instance in anyone's health, it should be a priority. This should be a public health issue.
It's a public health issue. The fibroid burden in this country alone is upwards of nearly $4 billion, more than most cancers put together that women suffer from, and we just don't know it. I mean, if you think about the people that are missing school or missing work, missing productivity, that they're having to delay their fertility and their family planning, all of the way the fibroids can affect us as women and our families subsequently, it is a huge public health issue.
And not only does it affect you, it affects your family. It affects everybody that's around you, your kids, everyone, because you don't feel like, I don't know about you guys, but I was exhausted all the time. I was always tired, and all I did was work. And no one's trying to hear about, like, oh, you can't film today because you have fibroids. Like, that's just not a doctor's excuse for this industry. They don't care about that.
Any industry.
Now, I didn't realize what was going on. I run regularly, and so I started going out for runs, and I would walk home. The same route that I would easily run, and all of a sudden, I just didn't have energy anymore. And then it just so happened, getting a blood test, the doctor called me the next day and was like, you may need to come in for an iron infusion.
That was definitely one of my symptoms. I would, like, run someone over for crushed ice. I was like, I'd had all these weird cravings. Also, I think it's so important to bring men into this conversation because most
they
of
go
us,
through it with us.
we have men, and they need to understand what's happening to us. Like they think we're just crazy, we're just being moody, we're doing the most or whatever. But once they understand what is happening to us, I think that it's just better for the relationship. It's just better for all of it. Because I used to feel guilty that I didn't feel good. Like, you know, just even for like regular things like, you know, let's have sex. And I'd be like, I'm tired. Do we have to? I don't want to. Because I was literally so anemic at that point. I just was exhausted all the time.
Does it change your sex drive?
It does, and it hurts
I
sometimes.
was gonna say that thing hurts sometimes.
It hurts sometimes. Positionally, it's like this side is good, that side is not so good. Positionally, for some women, fibroids, because it's a hard
Listen,
math.
missionary. Don't come in with nothing else with those fibroids. You already know what's happening. And hurry up.
But that all hopefully can be treated and remedied.
Do not play with me.
Right? So I love that.
You know, I started to feel like in my journey, mental health and women's health go hand in hand.
It does.
You know what I mean? Because we were all just saying, like, we suppress what it really feels like all the time. We don't want to tell people we don't feel good all the time. And I just think that we have to take it upon ourselves to check in with ourselves and make sure we are mentally okay so we can show up for ourselves, and that way we can show up for the people that are around us. That's right. Yeah.
In recent weeks, celebrities like Venus Williams and Lupita Nyong'o have also tried to break the taboo, posting their own battles with fibroids, no longer equating silence with strength, shining a light on this condition that impacts so many.
I remember when we were covering the Republican National Convention, I had been scheduled for 7 straight hours of being on TV, and I'm thinking, wait, how am I gonna navigate this? But at the same time, not wanna go and tell somebody, I can't, like, I need bathroom breaks, I need, you know, it becomes an awkward conversation to have with a colleague, with a boss.
Just take a listen to your heart. Just breathe normally.
After months of doctor's visits, tests, ultrasounds, MRIs, biopsies, and second, even third opinions, my doctor and I discussed the options: a myomectomy to surgically remove the fibroids, a procedure I already had, a hysterectomy, a surgical procedure to remove the uterus entirely, or uterine fibroid embolization, a minimally invasive procedure used to treat fibroids by blocking their blood supply, causing them to shrink.
It felt like the hysterectomy was just the final way to, because I'm still potentially a few more years away from menopause, and I just felt like I didn't want to potentially have another 5, 6, or 7 years like this. How did you ultimately decide, you know, I'm going to go with the UFE?
Well, when I had my procedure, I was already in my 40s. So I felt like I knew the fibroids would not come back overnight, and I knew at some point I would start menopause, which at that point I would be on the other side of it, and it wouldn't be a real issue for me anymore. I'm no longer anemic. My cycle, as soon as I had the UFE procedure, went from like 9 days to 4 days. I never had white sheets on my bed. Now I have beautiful white sheets. I never wore white pants. None of those things. Sex was better. Just my whole quality of life was better after I had that procedure.
I have a question.
Ask the
How do you feel about living without your uterus?
I would say that there's a little, you know, little nerves. I've never had a major surgery before. So, you know, hearing about potential side effects or blood clots or whatever that can happen after surgery, I feel there's some concern. But now that I've, you know, had my son, don't plan on having any other children, I guess I just want to be final and
just want to be
finished.
Yeah.
It's just, it causes me enough angst and grief and, you know, planning my day differently accordingly that I really feel like I'm ready to be finished with this journey. But I thank you for asking me. It's the first time anybody has asked me like how I'm feeling about it, and I had to actually think about how am I feeling, because I have just been thinking, okay, what is the solution? I'm wondering if you had a scenario where 80% of white men under the age of 50 were likely to get this diagnosis, Do you think that we would be further along with solutions, with research, with understanding why even it happens?
I feel like we're just starting to turn the corner. We're getting more legislature, we're getting more research, we're getting funding for NIH projects that are centered around, like, are there holistic, are there foods that we should eat different? We weren't having these type of conversations and highlighting it 10 years ago even, right? Other than Miss Cynthia Bailey, who was happy to put it on a national platform. So we're starting to get there, but to answer your question, it would have been done a long time ago. A long time ago.
But it's our fault.
Yeah.
Because we refuse to have these conversations. You know, people don't know that there's a problem until we let them know that there's a problem or there's an issue.
Right. And it's almost like this thing, especially as a Black woman, where we just inherit this right to suffer. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's almost like, oh, well, why should I feel good? Like, my mom didn't feel good, her grandmother didn't feel good. Like, you just are okay with pain and feeling uncomfortable, and you feel like you just have to get through it because you're just a woman, and this is just a part of womanhood. And I think, especially in the Black community, we kind of take that on, and that needs to stop.
Hello.
We deserve a good quality of life.
Thank you all so much. I mean, this conversation, from that moment you sat down and said, how are you feeling? Really, it was a nice little self-check that I had to think about. But just hearing that I'm not in it alone, and hearing that this is an experience, unfortunately, that too many Black women in particular endure, it is nice to see that you can get to the other side. As a journalist, it is my privilege to tell the stories of others. And now, by telling my own story, my hope is that more women will no longer have to suffer in silence.